Good morning. Good morning. Morning coffee. I have a lot on my mind this morning, and I'm sorry, it's a little bit a different energy today.
Okay. I used to be afraid of the world outside my door, so I lived within the pages of a book. I used to be so scared of what I couldn't control. It seemed whatever I touched, I broke. The wind at my back, the grass so green, the sun on my face, it was all a dream till you said, wake up, wake up, wake up, take my hand. I'm here for you now, I'll help you stand. The world isn't so frightening, it's not all thunder and lightning, and as long as we are together, life can only get better. I used to be embarrassed about my eyes, my nose, my smile, so I hid my face behind my hair. I spent so many years feeling like I was drowning. Now finally I'm coming up for air. Laughing out loud, being part of a team, touching the stars, it was all a dream till you said, wake up, wake up, wake up, take my hand. I'm here for you now, I understand. The world isn't so frightening, it's not all thunder and lightning, and as long as we are together, life can only get better. Life can only get better.
Nothing's wrong, by the way. Nothing at all. Just been very thoughtful this past week, and especially the last few days. And I woke up this morning with not a weight so much as a realization, just really noticing how the world is changing around us. The needs for certain aspects of life that we as indie authors and also as readers, people that enjoy and appreciate creativity, how different the world is becoming. And I know that there's divisions that are growing between people. I don't want to focus on those. I think there are ways to unite people. I still believe to the very core of my heart that we have far more in common than we have differences. And if people would calm their minds and focus on the things that we have in common, so I teach my kids, and I try to practice the best that I can, that, you matter more than any problem you and I might have with each other. And people are more important. And so I try to find those common denominators and ways that we can grow closer together, not further apart. I think that's particularly important for writers. We have a tremendous amount of influence with people, and not only that, our words and our ideas are going to last longer than us. My books they're going to outlive me. My stories are going to outlive me. And for some reason over this past week, probably because of the conversations that I've had with dozens of people and the way that I've mingled with my children, my grandchildren, my neighbors, all wonderful people that I love and adore, mixing with you, conversations that I've had with fellow writers and interviews that I've had. It has me thinking of what kind of influence we have upon other minds and hearts, especially young people. But out there in the world, we don't have barriers like we used to have. With the internet, we have access to every single nook and cranny of this world. You never know who's going to read your story. You never know how you're going to impact someone. And if you're fortunate enough, like I've been, every once in a while you're going to have someone that reaches out to you and lets you know how it has affected their lives. And it's a big deal. So I woke up this morning here, it's 5:45. It's way past when I normally get up. And even when I did get up this morning, I could not get my mind off the thought of 2026. Am I prepared for 2026? Are my friends, who I respect and admire, are you prepared for 2026? And I don't mean for conflicts. I don't mean for tariffs or what's happening on the other side of the planet. I'm talking about what's happening around you and in your own backyard. I'm talking about your stories. And there's going to be changes. I don't claim to know what those are. I just have this. Can you feel what I mean? Is it just me, or can you feel something in the air here that's been building, that there's going to be just tremendous big changes soon? I think there's going to be phenomenal opportunities for all of us if, and it's a big if we are prepared. And so I've been wondering, am I prepared? And I don't think that I am. Partially, but not as I should. But there's also a balance between being prepared and going off on a tangent of who I am and what my purpose actually is. I could focus, and I think the majority of people, at least that I see in trends on the internet, that you can see in YouTube, that you can see on Substack, which I've always found very humorous, of people who are there and they're there for a month or maybe 90 days, and next thing you know, they're developing a Substack saying, this is how you grow your Substack. I don't read articles anymore about how to grow your Substack. It seems silly that someone that's only been there a handful of months and then they become or claim to be the experts on growth. And I looked at my own accounts. I looked at my own efforts. I also looked at what my intent was behind them. Could I go out and bring a lot of people in so that I had a lot of subscribers? I believe I could. I really do. I'm genetically programmed to talk. I love people. I could advertise, but I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be that kind of person. I wanted to establish myself and to establish my stories and try to attract people that just wanted to hear about my stories. That's not easy. I didn't come to Substack with a fan base. I came to Substack starting at zero. I had unplugged everything that I had ever done. I had destroyed my own career by my own hand because I had listened to a troll. I'm glad that I did. I wouldn't be here right now, and I'm in a much better place than I've ever been. But that was a rough experience. And over the last 2.5 years, I've been here just a little over 2.5 years on Substack, and I've had steady, consistent growth every week. There's a few new people every few days, nothing huge. I don't write anything that seems to go viral, but I have a lot of material, and I think that it's good material, and I love people and families, and they know that. And so as you enjoy my writing, you tell other people, and it's probably in casual environments, while you're having dinner, when having a conversation with family and friends, and they bring up a subject and it pops into your brain. Oh, hey, I read something about Wanted Hero or Chronicles of a Hero or Jamie Buckley. Have you heard of this person? And the whole of my success, I believe, has been based on those types of events. But is what I'm doing sustainable? Am I prepared for 2026 as people learn how to search differently, when they have different intents, when they all of a sudden have an explosion themselves of new income? Am I following or adapting to, maybe that's how we should put it, adapting to trends, or the way that people are changing how they gather information? I'm not looking for individuals who are just the scroll mentality. There are many people out there that read. There are many people that are turning from the scroll. Substack itself was developed differently. They're trying to combat the poisons of social media by becoming, yes, another form of social media, but with substance. Something that it used to be in the beginning, and why most of us that are older were excited about social media in the first place, and then giving them better alternatives. And so I've been thinking about that this past week, and I'm bringing that up now because I realized the things that I'm learning myself, I'm wondering if my friends are thinking the same thing. I wonder if you are questioning if you are prepared for 2026. So I thought about 3 specific questions that I had to ask myself, and I didn't memorize the questions. I'm going to have to read them right here on the screen. But the first thing asking myself is, what is my core engine of visibility, and is it scalable without me burning out? Now, you know that what's that term, a prolific writer? I write a lot. I'm constantly writing, and that's a good thing. And if you've been around me long enough, you know that I also, for the longest time, at least for 2 years, I was writing and publishing 5 days a week. Now I have a way to do that, piggybacking, and it's not as complicated or hard as people might think, but I know that I have different skill sets than some writers. I'm also an artist, and I've made a good living also being an artist, so I might have some advantages there. But there are ways, even as a writer, to piggyback different aspects of writing and produce more with the same amount of effort. But the thing is that most of this, everything depends upon me right now. But I had to really ponder this, because the brutal truth was, indie authors, we often confuse activity with strategy, not the same thing. And so a real growth engine is measurable, it can be automated, and it can be expanded. And I'm not sure that my mind can yet. So I have to clearly define the primary traffic sources, whether that's newsletters or podcasts or partnerships, reading community, or a serialized platform. I also have to identify my supporting systems like onboarding funnels or reading magnets or autoresponders or cross-platform discoverability. Those are not things that I concentrate on. I don't advertise. I don't participate on other platforms. Do you? And I'm bringing these things up this morning in Morning Coffee because I realized I didn't want to figure these things out and leave my friends who might not be considering these things behind. I don't want you left behind. I love my friends here. I love my readers. And if you happen to be someone who is trying to grow and build a life around creativity, these are things you need to consider right now. Whether or not you do, that's up to you. But I'm not going to walk away and say, I knew something. I was aware of something that was coming along, and I prepared for it, but I didn't warn my friends. That's not my character. That's why I'm bringing this up to you right now. The last thing with that point is, are there aspects of my writing that I can either automate or that I can delegate? And right now the answer is no. I'm not turning things over to AI. I am still learning enough about AI to be comfortable in my own sphere. And I think I'm going to talk to some friends about that, and maybe do some podcasts to talk to people that are smart about AI so that I and you can be better informed. I don't want to succumb to fear or to feel paranoid because AI is not going away. So I need to know what it's capable of doing and to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I strive to maintain that individuality and that creativity that only me as a human being can make. Does that make sense? The second thing that I ask myself is my brand and catalog designed to hook new readers and keep them? I really got to think about that one deeper. Are we just like every other writer? Are we standing there and beating our chest and saying, read my things, read my things, read my things? I used to. I don't think I do that now. I hope not. I think it's tacky. And I'm pointing fingers at myself. I did it in a tacky way for years. And it's hard because like I said, I don't want to advertise. That's not the route I want to go. That's a machine in and of itself that big corporations have. Well, they've stacked it against us. They've stacked it in their favor to make oodles of money. And those rules, just like platforms, they change. And I just don't want to play that game. I have always relied on word of mouth. It is the most reliable, but it's also the hardest to do and the slowest to grow till you hit a tipping point. So, is it designed to keep people? I think so. I think I have a dedicated reader base. And that's going to grow because I love writing these stories. And so I throw myself into that creative process, and it's getting better and better and better as I develop and measure and schedule my time. My family has always been tremendously supportive so that I have writing time. But I'm also finally finding this balance between writing, which I've always done, and living, which I haven't done enough. And I'm finding that when I enjoy my life, taking time to spend and creating experiences with my beloved wife and my children and my grandchildren and my friends, it rejuvenates me so that I can write more and better. And I had not figured that out until last year. It's why I take December off, which is coming up. And so I'm finding that balance, how one feeds into the other. And that was a powerful discovery, and I didn't discover that until December of last year. So, the brutal truth with this is that if readers can't explain your promise, what you're doing for them in one sentence, well, your brand is broken. Can you explain what I do in one sentence? Some of you have told me. So think about that for yourself with your own stories. Then the third question that I had to ask myself is, am I building a movement or am I just selling books? That one I could answer. I've been creating a movement since I got on Substack. Now I'm fine-tuning it, and this is part of it right here, right now, why I'm spending this week's morning coffee wanting to have this discussion with you and to share these things, because you matter. You matter to me, and I don't want to leave anyone behind. If I learn something that is beneficial, I want my friends to know about it. I want you to prosper. I want to bring everyone with me. Why not? Why would I step on someone or leave someone behind? Now you get to choose whether or not you're going to use any of this information. That's not on me, that's on you. But you'll never be able to say, well, I didn't know about that. Other people will say, yeah, well, Jamie told you. I'm not a guru. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that's been doing this for a long, long time. And I love my life. And I love my friends, and I love my family. Yeah, it's a movement. It's a movement that starts with, you are more than you think you are. But I also had to consider some things, because when I wrote this down, a product can make a fan, but a mission can make an army. And I realized something this morning as I was getting up and considering what I was going to say to you, and I realized there are some aspects of writing that I have shied away from. Well, that's not even true. I have flat out ignored and had not wanted to. I've not wanted to analyze and address. And now I have to. I do. And I know what it is. There's another side, and it's the other part of my personality that you don't often see, and that is the teacher, the dad in me. That I love youth. It's really the reason why I'm here, because this all started because of an experience I had with my oldest son when he was a little child. I saw the kind of material that the world was trying to force feed youth, and still does. It's why we have a lot of the conflicts that we do, and the sour or bad aspects of the younger generations. They were groomed. They were programmed to become this. And my own opinion, just my opinion, not fact, just how I feel. We as parents, we allowed it to happen. So some of the fault is mine. Some of the fault is yours. Now, I've proactively been fighting against this, but it's still partially my fault. And how I have tried to counteract the things that have happened is how I raise my children, how I teach them. Have you taught yours? It's also how I interact with other youth and encourage them. You can't make people do things. That's not a thing. You can't make them. You can't force them. I mean, you could, but it won't stick, and it's the wrong way to do it. People have choice. People have agency. Even in other countries, I'll defy whether England or wherever, you still have choice. Now, your choices might suck, but you still have choice. You can choose to not comply. You can choose to live by principle and not by what someone's trying to shove down your throat. You can choose to allow the boots to sit on your neck. Or you can bite the Achilles tendon off that boot and make sure it never goes there again. No, I'm not inciting violence. I'm just saying you don't lack for options. The options just might suck in the beginning. But if you don't act, you will be acted upon. And so I look at my life and I look at the world around me. I look at youth. There are some adults that look at youth and say, well, they're just their problem youth. I was a problem youth. I was rebellious. I was a little hellion. And yet people, grown-ups, did not. My father and my mother never gave up on me. Ever. And that brought me to the point where a switch happened with me. And I got to make new choices. I always had that option, but I didn't want to. I didn't care. I don't even remember why I started caring. But I have learned over teaching well over 1,000, probably closer to 1,500 youth, 12 to 15-year-olds, face-to-face over a 26-year period, personally instructing these children every week. Some of these have grown up and now they're parents themselves. And I was invited to weddings and receptions and parties. And mothers were these little girls that I taught now come and show me their babies. And I bumped into one last night. And that recognition, that bond of having those experiences together are priceless. And I've learned over all this time that if you don't give up on people, those that seem to be the most rebellious, if those hearts and minds are turned, they're unstoppable. Consider that. If you can change minds and hearts through your stories, you can create forces that are unstoppable. That's reality. That's not fiction. That's truth. So what are your plans for 2026? So I asked these questions, and then I made a little test for myself to go through and actually walk through Life of Fiction and Chronicles of a Hero, the stories that I write, to analyze, to go and walk through the process to see where the holes are in my plans. And I made a little test, a little checklist that I can go and analyze myself. And I put it into a PDF, and I'd like to share it with you. So, if you come to my page this morning, under the video here, I have the PDF that you can download for yourself. It's not branded with anything. You can share it with anyone you want. My gift to you. Just see if you're prepared for 2026, because I'm convinced. I don't have evidence. It's just a feeling. I think 2026 is probably going to be the best year for indie authors they've ever had so far, if you're prepared for it. I'd like to be. I'm trying to be. And I want to help you too. I know this wasn't the normal Monday morning coffee. That's the way things go. I got up this morning. I was thinking about you. I love you. You matter to me. And I wanted to give you something different this week. It was a good week, by the way. Very good week. Which is why I feel thoughtful today. And I wanted to share that with you. So, I hope that was okay. And if not, you'll get over it. Or you won't. Either way, you are more than you think you are. And I'll see you next time. Bye.